Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Today I'm going to take these plants here beside me and get them out in my front pots. You might recall this spring I planted up some planters by my front door with some early spring flowers that were very frost tolerant, but it's starting to warm up now and it's starting to get some warmer season plants in those pots. I've actually since moved a couple of those pots out in front of my garage, and those are the ones I'm going to be planting up today. I don't normally do 2 plantings, but I had some really fun early spring plants that I wanted to try out there, like a flowering cabbage, and I wanted to see how early I could get some pansies and snapdragons and things going out there. I'll take you around when we go to do this, and I'll show you how they're looking. They didn't do a lot early on in the season. I think right up by my front door there, they just weren't getting enough light, to be honest. I knew it was a shadier area, and I was hoping with the sun lower in the sky they'd get enough light there, but they just didn't. And they've looked great for the last month or so, especially the ones that I moved out in front of my garage. But they definitely, as it's getting warmer now, we're getting to be most days around 25 or warmer, and that's just getting to be a little bit too hot for a lot of those plants. So it's time to switch them out, and if I want to enjoy these plants that I picked for in those pots before my season's done, then I need to get them planted out. So I'm going to work on that today. It's a nice overcast day. We actually had rain all day yesterday, which was very much needed and appreciated, and it looks like we might have some more in the forecast. So I want to sneak out here while it's not raining and get this done. While we're sitting here and it's a little bit quieter in my backyard, I'll just show you the plants I have. Now I think I have an extra here of the cannas. I should really find somewhere in the yard to pop this, but I have these cannas. It's a little bit nicer one, needs a little bit of grooming, it looks like. But this is a canna, and I just have been growing these for years. It's kind of a red toned flower that comes out of here. They're these big, beautiful, big, bold leaves. Nice variegation in the leaf color in some of them. And the leaves themselves are nice enough to me to just have growing, but they will form a spike and make a nice kind of reddish toned flower later in the season. And then I have some orange marigolds, so I'm going to put one of these in each of the planters as well. These are marigolds that I grew from seed, and I just have collected the seed over the years off of the marigolds that I've grown in my yard. It looks like I need to do a little deadheading on this one, but there's lots more flower buds coming, so they'll be full of flowers again in no time. I have 2 each of these verbena. This is whiteout. This is a very nice bright verbena. I really like verbena. It works well in full sun, hot locations. I find it can handle a little bit of drying out, and just always does well for me at the front of the house where I can get a lot of sun, a lot of wind, a lot of heat reflected off the house. So I always like to have some verbena out there. And then when I was at the garden center one day, I found this really beautiful petunia, and it didn't have tags in it. I asked them, they don't know what the variety is. It's a really beautiful, different colored petunia that I haven't seen before. So I'm going to put one of these in each of the containers as well. So I'm going to gather up some things. I'm going to grab probably a little bit of extra potting soil just in case when I pull those plants out, I need some more added in, and a little bit of slow release fertilizer. And that's probably all I'm going to need other than these plants. So grab my stuff and we'll get out to the front. So this pot and that one over there are what I'm going to work on today. I'll show you those in a minute. Real quick, let's look at the other 2 that I did up this spring. I had all the pots over here by my front door this spring, and that one still has the cabbage. I'll probably pop the cabbage out, but there's a few pansies right in the back. still from this spring. You can see them there. They need to be a little bit deadheaded. There's some snapdragons just starting to come into bloom there. And I've added a few impatiens, which I think will pull this through this summer there with that. There's a little bit more light on this side, a little bit more sunshine on this side of the door here. So I think that'll be all right. The cabbage has gotten kind of long and mangy, so I'll probably pull it out and just leave the others there. And then on this side, I had pulled out, I think, anything that was in here from the spring already. I just moved it over to other pots. And then I put in some salpiglosis because it can take some shade. Mostly impatiens and a little bit of lobelia. So there's also a salpiglosis there and one in the back. That's just starting to get going there. So the salpiglosis won't flower as much in this shadier spot as it would normally, but I think it should still do all right. And I think that planter looks pretty good on its own. I could probably maybe work at getting that standing up a bit better there, but I think it still looks all right like that. So let's go see those other pots we're going to work on today. This pot is my favorite. Somehow it wound up with all the snapdragons in it. It was just the way they were sitting at the door. This one wound up with snapdragons. The other one didn't. But they've really come into their own. They don't really, the colors don't totally go together. But I didn't really know what the colors were when I put them in there. They weren't blooming yet. But they're still looking great. I might actually find somewhere in the landscape to pop those where it's not going to be quite so hot, and they'll probably push through the summer if I do that. And who knows, maybe I'll find somewhere for some of these flowering cabbages too, because again, they won't like it out here. It gets just too hot with the heat reflecting off of this building here, the garage here. But they've really, this is the first time I've grown these. I grew them from seed. They look pretty nice. The pansies are really tired and sad, and they definitely need to come out. They've got some powdery mildew, it looks like, on them. And just, they need to be done here. And this other pot as well. You can see, like, I mean, it was looking really nice, but the pansies, they've had their day, and they're starting to get a little droopy and not looking as nice. Cabbages I'm really happy with. I'm gonna have to try and get seed. The only place I could find them was at Stems, the seed for these, but I really have enjoyed those flowering cabbage like that. It's busy out here this afternoon, but I think what I'll do is I'll just pull the plants out of these pots and replace them, and then we'll go through and look at how it worked out when I'm done. so I have them potted up. I'll need to water them in still. And they're not super full, but I think that'll be enough for out here in this area. They will fill in more now that they've had somewhere to put their roots out and kind of get some better nutrients than sitting on the edge of my patio there. That one verbena in the back is looking pretty rough. It was in the back of the plants. I don't think it was getting enough sun, and these all suffered getting dried out a few times when I missed them in my watering. So I think they'll be much happier out here. Let's have a look at the other one. Here's my mess. So this one's looking a little fuller. The verbena is a little bit fuller that went into this plant. The petunia even I think is a little bit fuller. It does look like it's a little nutrient deficient. But again, I've put some fertilizer into this pot. I'll be fertilizing them regularly with my other plants, and that should perk up soon, I think. These have gotten a little wind beaten. And that'll happen out here anyway, so it's been really, really windy. June was super crazy windy here, so hopefully we don't have that for the rest of summer. And I still need to go grab that one cabbage out of that pot back there. But otherwise, I think it's really good. Here's the rest of my front yard. Lots of things happening. The pollinators are happy. Some yarrow, some rudbeckia down there, the red flowers. This is milkweed. This is Cinderella milkweed. It's the first time this red avens has flowered for me. Really excited about that. And that's all echinacea in around it, so that'll be really full soon. This is what's called dwarf milkweed, this pink flower here, right there. And it's probably about, I don't know, 60 to 70 centimeters tall, so I guess it depends what you call dwarf, but pollinators are loving it. I don't know if you can see them all on there. They love it. And this is another Cinderella right here, this little skinnier milkweed in the back there. So you see the difference between the two. And there's some penstemon. I need to cut that back. But this pot I'm really happy with. So this is another one of those same red cannas. You can see this one has a real variegation in the leaf. They don't all. I don't know what it is that creates that. But I save them from year to year, so they're all the same cannas. And then there's some nice bidens. I love bidens or bidens. I'm not sure how you say it. This is more a verbena. There's an ipomia back here. Here's the verbena. There's this beautiful osteospermum, some marigolds. So this pot's a lot fuller than the rest. But I really like how it turned out. And it's been planted about, I think, 3 weeks now. So it's really filled in. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the switch out of the plants from spring to summer. Like I said before, it's not something I normally do here. We just have such a short season. But it just worked out that way this year. So that's what I've done. So it'll be interesting to see, because normally I would have had these pots planted with things like this about a month ago or maybe sooner. So it'll be interesting to see how well these fill in before the frost gets them in early to mid-September. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, can you sit at least? Can you sit? Good dog.